What's up, gamers and dragons? Today I just wanted to go and talk about my opinion a little bit about the season, and I wanted to take a look at Samito's video here, and let's just take a look at what he has to say.
Oh man, you know guys, only Blizzard could go from a great start to a season with season 9 to just an absolute dumpster fire
Yes, very much.
for season 10 and the start of season 10. I'm just going to rant today a little bit. A lot of this stuff is fixable, but man, my experience, and I hope yours has been different. Let me know if yours has been good down in the comments. My experience with season 10 has been horrific so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad, but it's been mostly just the queue times for me. I haven't played that much, but mostly the queue times have been horrible.
There's a couple things that they broke that I'm going to start out with and talk about this first. So the wide grouping stuff that they tried to do just has not worked at all, and I think they know this. I tried to duo with my buddy Jack Razor, who played almost made Team Canada and plays collegiate Overwatch. He's a former Contenders player, right? We sat in queue for 15 minutes, didn't even get a game, and we're just like, okay, we're not even going to try to play comp.
Wide groups, I've just felt bad queue times regardless of wide or narrow. I think they were longer in wide, but in terms of matches, even though I just played a couple, the matches were strangely balanced. Like, they weren't blowouts or anything weird like that. I thought wide would cause some weird, volatile matches, but it didn't. At least for the couple that I played.
We're not even going to try to do it. They broke the matchmaking with this season. It's quite literally unplayable. Today on stream, my first time playing comp, to where I'm going to talk about this in a second, they didn't reset ranks at all for the high ranked players and at least put us down to GM5. So I'm mid GM2. There's no point.
All right, I'm just gonna skip a little bit over this since I'm not a high ranked player.
I played more games of Warzone Rebirth Island and Paladins in queue for my matches than I did games of Overwatch today.
Yeah, I mentioned that in one of my previous video because he had said it before, and I was watching him. Actually, I was watching him stream while he was playing Paladins between his matches and queue times. Like, the queue times is just very horrible. I mean, I don't know what they expected to happen by splitting the queues in two. Technically, they're split in two now, but whatever. I spoke about that in another video. Let's just keep going.
And I know, granted, I'm high ranked, right? And so, I expect some of the queue times to be kind of tough. But at the start of the season,
well, let me just interrupt right there. Yeah, they're bad. I expect them to be really bad at higher level, but like at average, metal ranks, they're still worse than what they were before.
At least as a streamer, damn it, I want to get games. I don't care about being high ranked. And this is a very unique problem to me, but I'm just going to rant about this for a second, right? You guys have had...
I mean, you don't have to be a streamer just to want to get games, especially when you're competing with other games. Getting in queues, like normal queue times is very important. It doesn't matter or not. At least if you're streaming, you have someone to talk to, a chat between the queue. There's more interaction. But imagine just going dry, waiting 5-10 minutes, just dry, sitting on, sitting, looking. You have to join like a death match or something, maybe to keep yourself entertained or watch the video on the side. I think it's harder to stay playing with longer queue times. All right, just I probably skipped to this point. He went off about MMR or SR reset for high ranked players at the end of the season. I can't really relate to that because I'm not a high ranked player, so I just skipped that part, just so you know.
Balance patch, all right? If I have to play one more game against Lifeweaver Kiriko, I would prefer that Genji comes through my computer and just Dragon Blades my freaking head off. Because, I don't think there's ever been a hero worse for the game if they're remotely playable than Lifeweaver, aside from, Broken Brig, right? This patch was shite. It was shite. Leave Weaver bad. He needs to be unplayable. That hero is so poorly designed. Think about this. Imagine if they made a DPS.
Hold on. I think maybe this applies more to high level gameplay. I'm not sure in my games yet that I feel like Lifeweaver's horrible. Actually, I feel like it's harder to win with Lifeweaver, but that's just been my experience.
right? And I like playing Lifeweaver, by the way. Weaver's a fun character to
Yeah,
play.
he's pretty
but
fun.
Insanely unhealthy for the game. Worse, like, if Weaver is good, and I've said this many times, right? If Weaver is good, because his kit is all about denial, it doesn't matter how viable the kit is. It matters how much fun it is for the rest of the lobby and all the Weaver.
You know, I mean, that's probably why he is fun, is because he's about denial. You said he's fun, but he's about denial. And that's a shame. I think that's kind of what makes him fun, but what makes him fun makes the game bad is basically what I'm understanding here. How do you reconcile those two, right? We want fun heroes, and sometimes heroes aren't even that great, or they're not at the top of the tier list, and they're super fun to play because they've given them a fun kit. Is this one of those, like, it's fun to play with but not against?
Players out there. I'm sorry, you all have been done dirty too. They need to change this character from the ground up, really, okay? If a hero that's only thing it does is deny value, and it cannot miss, Lifeweaver cannot miss, is even remotely playable, the game experience for the rest of the lobby is dog shit.
Well, he cannot miss. Okay. So if you keep the same abilities, but you make them skill shots, right? Let's say his healing had some sort of skill shot to it, somehow, some way, let's not get too into it. It's just for the sake of argument. Would that make him better? I'm still with, like, if you change him around too much or you normalize him, he becomes boring. That's the thing that's been going on with the game, right? It's hard to make a fun hero without breaking the balance, and the game's been dumbed down over the years. Heroes have gotten simpler and simpler, and then, the simpler they get, the more boring they get. Some people just have fun with winning, right? And a hero that just owns another hero, that's it. That's the fun for some people, but other people really like just the kits. The kits can be very fun. What you're actually doing in game, how you engage, what your game plan is, even if it's not the most powerful hero, can also be fun. It's kind of like he wants the game to be competitive and good, right? But I feel like the more you go in that direction, the more you take away from the fun. And I get it. There has to be like a balance. You can't lean to one side or the other. You have to find that middle ground. But I think Blizzard's been playing it safe, other than a few characters, right?
I wanted to play against aimbot heals, right? That you can't miss, and a life grip that bails anybody out from any range with zero repercussions. Unbelievable that ability has not been touched. Unbelievable, okay? I would play Bloons Tower Defense as the Bloons, all right? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And look, you guys have done a good job this year, generally speaking. Like, Season 9 was a lot better. But for sake, get Weaver the out of the game, seriously. Or redo him. Make him have skill shots. Because imagine if there was a DPS that shot homing ranged missiles at you as a support player. Homing ranged missile. Could not miss. No matter where the frick you were aiming. They only did like 80 damage, right? So you could sit there and heal each other. But it can't miss. And
yeah, but is that fair, though? Is that fair? I mean, there's only 2 people that could output heals, technically, right? On the team, there's 2 support. And there's 5 people that could output damage. So I get what he's saying. He's trying to say, oh, if it was the other way, if it was damage and not heals. But like I said, there's 5 people that could output output damage, excuse me. And there's only 2 people that could output heals. I think Lifeweaver's stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's probably a fine line to get him right. Like, and that's how it should be, right? Really good heroes, they're probably, to get them to work, there's probably this really fine line that you have to tune the hero to get it just right. And I think Lifeweaver is probably one of those heroes, but that means he's a good hero.
And then they had a like ranged auto aim magic bullet from Mario Kart, boom, missile to shoot at you too.
That's a blue shell
of life grip for the DPS.
Give a hero a blue shell.
Absolute ass. And if there's one thing we learned from Season 7 when they buffed Weaver up too much, the game is absolutely fucking horrific whenever that character is good. Revert the Lifeweaver buffs immediately. Unfortunately, that character is chalked, and it should literally be sub 1% of the player base ever playing him. I'm sorry. And the character's cool. His backstory's cool. His skins are...
Well, hold up, right? Like, then what's the point? What's the point in having the character just filling up space? Get rid of them. That's not a realistic suggestion, right? They're not going to get rid of Lifeweaver. It's like saying they're, get rid of Hog or something like that. They're not going to get rid of these heroes. but it's a shame just to have them there. Like if you could tune them so they're maybe map specific or something like that. You know, Symmetra's always been an interesting example of a hero because there's times where she's just strong in certain maps. And okay, you can't use her all the time, but she is usable. For these heroes, if you can't make them usable normally, then maybe you should tune them to be maybe map specific or game type specific. You know, flirt around with the idea of like, you know, changing certain things where they work in certain game types or maps. That way they don't, you know, he said less than 1%. I mean, what's the point? Fix them in a different way then. Maybe you can't fix them like he said. Maybe when that character is good, the game's bad. So you can't fix them normally, but maybe pick an angle for the hero. That's just an idea, but it would suck just to like throw these heroes away basically.
Cool. The whole like theme around the character with like the pedals and shit is awesome. But if they don't change how he heals and how life grip works, the game cannot afford for the hero to be good. Because the game will always perma fucking suck. Lifeweaver, unironically, is more frustrating to play against than OG Break. Not even joking.
Also, something that we could take into account here is that heroes are good at different skill levels, right? Like Widow, obviously at low level, Widow is trash. So, and at high level, Widow, you know, when she's really good, it's the most annoying thing in the world. So having some heroes that are going to be trash or not played at high level and played at low level and vice versa, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's fine. That means that the hero is still useful. Maybe Lifeweaver could be that type of hero, you know, where maybe he won't be good for high level play, but he'll still be good because, you know, he doesn't have to aim for his heal at lower level play. And that might be a solution. I don't think heroes need to be great all the way through all the different ranks. That's a way to still have heroes playable in a certain way. Now, having every hero playable at every skill level and perfectly balanced, I don't think that's a realistic thing either. You know, having heroes that are useful in every situation, you know, in every game type and every map, that's just not realistic. But we don't want to have heroes that are just garbage, you know, that they'll never ever get picked.
But dude, I'm telling you, Lifeweaver has got to be the least fun character I've ever played against in a video game. I cannot fucking believe that this character is getting buffed or has not just been really changed from the ground up. Needs to get changed. Don't design heroes like that. Wipe my freaking butt cheeks with it. Just
yeah, but don't design heroes like that. But you just said
okay?
The hero was really fun.
Okay.
Like there's definitely positive takeaways. You just said the hero was really fun earlier, you know? I won't say don't design heroes like that. Try to find the middle point between a hero like that and a hero that's more balanced maybe. But, you know, let's not tell them not to make fun heroes.
But this ball rework, man. Like, you know, it's just, I get the ball players like it, and I've seen some of the stuff people are doing, and it's crazy. But applying shields to teammates? Stop it. Stop it. Stop. That shit is broken. That's never been received well in the game.
Regarding ball players, at least in the metal ranks, they're not that great. Ball is a very interesting hero because I feel like there's just like the skill floor is high. Just to be, you know, okay with ball, you kind of have to play with him, get his mechanics down, maybe rollouts. I don't know, you know, learning just how to get ball to move the way you want ball to move. That it's not that intuitive. It doesn't, you don't just pick up the hero like it's soldier and then you understand how to play the hero. So I haven't really come across this that much, and I haven't, you know, the shields, I haven't seen the effect of it that much, but I could understand at higher level play where the ball players actually know how to play ball, they know how to move around with ball. Maybe now they could take advantage that, you know, ball could retract his claw.
When break packs overhealed armor, right? Queen Shout had to get nerfed heavily.
Also, yeah, at the highest levels, you know, every little advantage counts. So I can imagine extra heals or shields. You know, I remember the break packs. They make a bigger difference, especially at the highest levels where any little thing could affect the outcome of the duel.
Putting Venture straight into comp, in hindsight, terrible idea. Terrible idea. Still need some quality of life to dig animation sucks. Now, I had a couple big Venture games, but it feels like Venture's either carrying or just complete ass
Regarding Venture, I don't mind them putting Venture right away into comp. There's a better way of doing this. In my opinion, I have an idea of a better way. It's simply just like how the other heroes, if you don't unlock them through during the season pass like you used to, you have to do these challenges, or you have to get a certain amount of games in quick play. Now, what I think they should do is they should unlock the hero in quick play, but then you have to win X amount of games in quick play to unlock the hero in comp. I mean, the hero's unlocked in comp as soon as the season comes out. As fast as you could win those games, that's as fast as you could get that hero in comp. And the reason I say that is because some people take comp at different serious levels, we'll call it, right? Some people are really trying to get better and rank up, and some people, that's like their default have fun mode. It's not quick play because you don't get the return round. You just want the comp experience, but you yourself don't take it that seriously, right? So what happens is that some people will just skip quick play and go straight to comp and pick Venture and start learning Venture in comp or any new hero. They'll just go straight to comp and start learning a new hero. And that's not cool, That's not cool for the people in your match that are trying to actually win, because you don't know the character. I mean, you're not considering of your fellow players, I guess. You don't know how to play the hero, and you're just trying to figure it out in the middle of a match. So what I think they should do is, as like a compromise, is unlock it immediately in quick play, and then do like some sort of challenge where you have to win X amount of games. I don't know what's the right amount. That's room for a long discussion, but for X amount of games, so at least when the player comes into comp, they've at least had some experience with the hero, so they're not completely throwing your match.
Just complete ass, very mid character. I think they would have benefited from waiting a little bit on that one. I think they probably should have waited a little bit. And Venture's the first hero for my role. I'm a little disappointed. Like, it just feels like Venture doesn't have a very high skill ceiling because they can't crit, right? They can't, like, there's only 2 cooldowns. It feels like Venture's missing a cooldown. I think that instead of shields, like blue shields, they should generate overhealth like DPS Doomfist did, and reward the players for hitting the CDs, right?
I get what he's saying, and the hero just came out, so I think there's always room for improvement, and there's only so much that you could get from testing, a weekend was it, and I think they definitely don't want overpowered heroes, especially if they're gonna release them immediately into comp. So I think the hero Venture, I think they have potential, and I understand what he's saying. I don't disagree with him. The range on their weapon just is so, sometimes it's frustrating. So then you have to get in and out, and like you said, there's no crit. So yeah, definitely I think Venture could be better.
It just feels like Venture's missing a CD, and the melee does not count as an additional cooldown. Let's just stop the cap right there. It's not a rewarding one. Some of the combos are cool and setups are cool.
I do like the melee, and I do like how the combos and setups work. Not looking into balance, but looking into fun factor, Venture is pretty fun. And the way they move around the map, and the drill, the dash, all that, I think that there's definitely a good flow to the character. They're just lacking a little bit.
The ult, you either kill an entire team or you just airbend Avatar and it's just silly.
Avatar is awesome though, and the anime or the animated version. Watch it.
But a fun character either way. I just wish they would take some time to try to expand on Venture's playstyle more and more. And just this season, man, from the ground up, at least the Mercy players got their mythic. I'm sure they sold a record amount of battle passes instantly. Like, that's great. But the gameplay's absolute dog shit. It's ass. Okay, this season has been ass, and I just need to vent. What I'm gonna do.
It's been pretty bad, but to me, it's just the queue times, and I'm like, did they test? Did they have an idea? Was there no way to check that the queue times were going to be absolutely horrible? And the thing is that, like, they said that they were horrible. They might be bad. They didn't say horrible. They said that they might be bad for wide groups, but they're bad for narrow groups too. Like just overall in average rank, gold, plat, how that's where like the meat of the players are at. How are queue times high? It makes me feel like no one's playing the game, but I don't think it's that. I just think it's the new matchmaking.
I'm just going to freaking lose it. So, look, I'll give them time to fix the wide group crap. Duos are not wide groups. Stop the cap. Fucking absurd. Get that shit out of the game now. Now. Get it out now. Gavin, I am begging you on my hands and knees. Look.
Yeah, the duo thing, it's interesting because it's at Grandmaster, if I'm not mistaken, at Grandmaster, it doesn't matter how you're stacked. It's considered wide. So even two Grandmasters, that's how it's been explained on the website. If you're, two Grandmasters, they're still wide. Any stacking at Grandmaster level is wide. Grandmaster and above. So yeah, if you're dueling at, other ranks, it's fine. It's narrow. If you're with somebody else that is near your skill level, you're going to be in regular matchmaking. You're going to be in narrow matchmaking.
I don't ask Blizzard for anything. I'm not in y'all's creator server. I'm not a part of this program. All I want is the game to be functional so I can at least do my own thing. Okay? That's it. That's all I'm asking. All right? Listen, man. Reset MMR every season for high-ranked players. You don't have to do it for every rank, but high-ranked players should all go to at least GM4, GM5, so we can queue the game and stream it to our audience. Okay.
Does it only have to be high-ranked? Maybe they could bring it a little lower and then adjust how much it's reset depending on what your rank is. I mean, if you've been playing, if you're kind of half casual and you play this game a lot and you have this rank where you've been sitting at, maybe it's okay to drop you a little bit so you have the feeling of just getting back where you used to be. It makes the seasons feel different, because if you're a platinum and then you just start your next season right where you left off, and that's kind of where you've settled in, you're okay with it, you just have fun with the game. You're not a real try-hard player trying to get all the way up to champion, and every season you're kind of stuck there. That static, non-movement of your rank, I think that turns players off to the game. I think having a little bit of movement in your rank is okay. So maybe resetting it and also giving the seasons to feel like it's another start again, another cycle. I think that's kind of important. So not just the highest of levels. I don't know how far down it should go and how much it should be, but maybe doing something to make you feel like, okay, this is a brand new season. We're coming at it again. It resets your mentality, or maybe you do want to try harder this season. It's just a good point for a reset. But I don't think you feel that reset if there's no change. If your first game, you're just like right where you left off last season.
Okay. Number 2, add rank decay back, please. So we're not you don't play for 50 games and then get 50 wins. I'm sorry, 50 wins to get top 500 and then just idle on your account permanently. Because that's what we've had to do every season, right? This has been in the writing forever. This is a more personal thing, not for you guys.
I agree with the rank decay, even though I'm not at that level. I mean, so don't hate me if you're at that level and you like to sit there. But it's just kind of weird. I think you want to keep the competitiveness up for the whole season, to keep players more engaged to play for the whole season. Oh, look, I got to the top 500, in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or however fast people could get it nowadays. I think it comes out after 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. You could correct me. You just try hard for a couple weeks and then that's it. You call it a day, see you next season, and then come out in top 500. I'm not sure that's the right way.
But I can't tell you as a streamer, it's ridiculous that at the season's launch, at the launch of the season, I literally should not be playing on my main account. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. I'm sitting in queue for 15. I literally played a game of Rebirth Island and Paladins. Like, it's in between queues. It's absurd.
Yeah, he's back on queues, and I think he's back on queues again because that's what the issue is. I think the queue times, and I mean, this whole change to Overwatch 2 and 5v5 was, I mean, from what I understand, I don't know if there's any other, let's call it like hidden reasons for it. I'm sure there's other reasons, but I know that one that was talked about a lot is just the queue times. It's fixed queue times. And this does not fix queue times.
The games are fucking steamrolls anyway. Just at least let us play and attempt to entertain our audiences, because it's freaking BS. And those are my thoughts on Season 10. I'm not going to lie, guys. This is probably, and again, some of it's because of bug fixes and them trying out new features, which, like, you do have to give them time. Oh, let's talk Clash! Ass! Oh my God, I'm sorry. That mode is garbage.
He's talking about Clash. Clash, I played it and I had no desire to keep playing it. I played it a couple times and I'm like, okay, that's a game mode. Yep, that's a game mode. That's what that is, a game mode. I didn't feel strongly about it, but I didn't feel, what's the opposite of that? I just didn't feel negative about it. It's Overwatch and it's a game mode. I hope they make it better in some way, but I wasn't too excited about it.
Literally feels like one giant clusterfuck the entire time. And then when you try to queue it in open queue, they just pick Malgo, Ryan, Brig, and you can't play the game because Cardiac, they didn't balance any of the abilities for the open queue.
Well, that's true. And testing it, actually, I said that to my friends, like, why didn't they like role lock this game mode so that you could actually tell how it's gonna play in comp? You know, when it gets added to comp, it's gonna play differently because people aren't gonna pick 2 or 3 tanks. So why didn't, I don't understand, just because it's, I don't know if it's like framework or something or just the way that's set up. Maybe that's hard for them to do. I don't know. I think I'm being apologetic for them there. Like, they should have just made it role lock, and that way playing it in the arcade is an actual test because it needs to be actually tested for when it comes out in comp.
So it's ass, right? And again, they're testing out Clash to try to see it's better. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, how can they
Clash
test
is
it?
better than 2CP. I'm gonna say it. That shit.
Okay, don't hate me. I miss 2CP, and I know it's not perfect, but I think they could have just reworked the rules. I remember SVB reworked the rules like on a workshop, and they made it play a little bit better. I think they did something like resetting your ultimate after 1 point is taken, and that played better. You know, the people that he got a lot of creators to play it, and they had not the most positive but slightly positive response to that. So why do we need a whole new game mode? Like, even that map does not make me miss Hanamura. I still, that Hanaoka map, I still miss Hanamura. Just the aesthetic and the way that map is. Is it really not fixable? We know there's problems with it, but like, is it not fixable is my question. Why do we have to just totally discard it? Are all this old content, is it that not fixable that it has to be discarded? You know, like Paris, remember Paris? Man, that map's horrible. Absolutely, right? But is it so horrible that it has to be discarded and it can't be fixed, modified? Maybe change the choke. I don't know. I just feel like it's weird that it's being discarded. It's such great content. That's extra maps to the game that you get to play. So the game's always feeling more fresh. You're never playing the same maps. Why throw that away? Use that. 2CP, even with Clash, bring 2CP back. So like the more, to me, the more the merrier, and the more variety, the less tedious the game gets if you play a lot. So just come back and fix it. Come on, guys. Can you fix it?
It did not leave a good impression on me. I'm not gonna lie. That was like it was like a mid-off. Like, it was at best. So look, I'm not trying to sound like just some hater here. I just thought Clash was a giant absolute mess, and I hope they figure out spawns, capture points. Maybe we as players need to learn it more. I'm down to give it another chance, but holy hell, it felt like absolute doo-doo when I played it. That's just me. So, dude, I'm not going to lie. Only Blizzard could go from like a great start to Season 9 with the new comp system to just an absolute fucking mess in Season 10. They've got to clean this shit up. Unfortunately, this season's launch has already been just royally fumbled, and let's hope that Season 11's launch goes a little bit better.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's not great, but they took a risk too, right? They did this wide narrow. They're trying things that are a little out there. I feel like wide and narrow is a little out there for fixing matchmaking, and that's what I'm worried about. Yes, I think there should be more quality control. Is that what it's called? In terms of like testing this stuff, but also because it's bad, I don't want to deter them from taking chances on finding creative ways to fix things and improve the game. If we give them the feedback that this is so horrible, then they're probably not going to make big adjustments, excuse me, big adjustments, because they're afraid of making the game horrible. But then again, they've made adjustments from the game being really good to make it really bad, October 2020, right? So, like, the messaging that we should be giving them as a community is the game's bad, please make it better right now. The queue times are horrible, but don't shy away from from trying new things, and keep trying those new things, because some of them might hit.
But I'm only saying this from a high-level player who could not even duo queue, whose ranks were queues were so fucking long and bad that it just actually was unplayable. So they need to sit down and look at high-level play for once. Stop the wide group shit. Fix high-level play first, for the love of God, and just wait on this stuff. And 10 avoid slots also does not need to happen. I don't know what we're cooking with that. It does not need to happen. It's silly.
Regarding the 10 avoid slots, I don't think 10 is needed. I mean, I think that's for higher level play, because the pool is smaller and you're running into the same players over and over again. The change, though, where it doesn't lock you out from adding a person because you have a max, which used to be 3, right? Let's say they raised it to 5, maybe like a happy medium, and then, but you still, that new change, we need to keep that, which is just knock the person at the bottom off, And if you need to pin them, you could pin them to the list. I think that change is really good, though. Also, that's kind of why I wanted to react to his video, because he's coming at it and he's like, yeah, it's the higher level players, and all that. But I think a lot of what he's saying still applies to the average player and the queue times. Even though the queue times for the average player aren't as high, the investment of average players is a lot less. How much they put into the game, how much they expect to the game, how much they're willing to tolerate from the game. Because if you're more casual, you just want to get in, maybe you're not as serious, it doesn't mean that you don't want to get better, but you know what I mean? You don't have all day to play the game, whatever the situation is. Usually your investment is less at lower levels. So maybe for a grandmaster, it's more tolerable 8 minutes, 5-6 minutes. And that same amount of time for a gold player is just like, okay, I'm turning this game off. I got home from work. I want to play something. I want to relax. I want my escapism, whatever it is. It's less tolerable for them. So even if the queue times aren't as high as the high level players, just them going up, might break that tolerance line for a lot of players. And that's how I felt. I'm like, why am I waiting? I'm an average level player. I'm in quick, and even in quick play, and I'm waiting over 2 minutes for a match. That's not making a lot of sense.
But yeah, I hope they fix this. It happens. But holy shit, this was actually, I'm not even kidding. There were better season launches at the end of Overwatch 1 when it was getting no content than this dog shit. Like, my queues are worse now than they were when Overwatch 1 was dead. Think about that. Think about that shit. That's crazy to say. And I'm not going to talk about 5v5 in this video, but, I think if the game was popular, it wouldn't be a fucking problem. But
5v5 every time. I don't think that's ever going to die. Yeah, I'm not concerned that it's, my concern, whether it's at the beginning of the season or whenever you release something, it's just the testing, right? Like, are you sure this is going to work? I think it was, I don't develop games, but I think it was kind of obvious that when this was going to come out, I kind of discussed it and I released my video after it came out. So it was a little bit of both. But before it came out, I was already like, this is going to raise queue times, isn't it? Like, I felt like it was just obvious, right? Because you're kind of splitting the player base. So yeah, like just the control. I don't care if it's at the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season. I mean, we use these points to judge. But regardless of when you release something, maybe test it. I'm glad that they're releasing heroes to test before they come out. They should keep that going. I mean, we don't have a test server anymore, but it's okay. I don't think the community minds testing certain things. For the quick play hacked is a good idea. Now, just I don't know about the ideas that they've used in quick play hack, but I think that the quick play hack is a good idea to test things and use it more.
Thank you for watching. That's my season 10 rant and my thoughts on season 10. This shit has sucked for me. I hope it's been better for you. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Take care. See you later.
All right, that's his video. Yeah, I mostly agree with him. And yeah, I just hope that they improve things. I don't know how long it's gonna take them to I guess turn the knobs on the matchmaking. Hopefully they'll get some data. You never know. Maybe this is just the first step before they make it better. But yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up. And yeah, that's been it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that sub and like button. Samito, if for some reason you don't know who he is and you found me, that's pretty incredible. But I have his info in the description. Please check him out.